Welcome to Framework, the podcast that makes the NIST cybersecurity framework practical, engaging, and accessible. Whether you're a cybersecurity professional, business leader, or simply curious about how organizations defend against cyber threats, this series is for you. This podcast is inspired by a comprehensive guide to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, a best-selling resource written by cybersecurity expert Dr. Jason Edwards and trusted by professionals worldwide. In each episode, we'll leverage a few insights from Jason's extensive book to dive deep into CSF 2.0, unpacking every function, category, and subcategory with real-world applications you can immediately use. If you're enjoying this episode and want to learn more, head over to cyberauthor.me to grab your copy of the book and access additional resources to enhance your cybersecurity journey. You can also visit baremetalcyber.com, where over 2 million people last year explored expert insights, articles, and practical tools across a wide range of cybersecurity topics. RS.MA-04 escalating incidents when needed. RS.MA-04 ensures that organizations establish clear escalation protocols for cybersecurity incidents, enabling rapid response coordination and appropriate resource allocation based on the severity and impact of a security event. This subcategory belongs to the Respond function within the National Institute of Standards and Technology's Cybersecurity Framework, version 2.0, emphasizing that effective incident escalation ensures that security teams, executives, and external stakeholders are engaged at the right time to contain and mitigate threats efficiently. Without structured escalation processes, organizations risk delayed response actions, miscommunication between response teams, and prolonged exposure to cyber threats due to ineffective decision-making. By implementing structured incident escalation processes, organizations ensure that security events, such as ransomware attacks, unauthorized access attempts, and denial of service incidents, are assessed in real time and escalated based on predefined criteria. A well-defined escalation framework incorporates predefined severity thresholds, automated notification workflows, and structured crisis communication protocols to ensure that high-risk incidents receive immediate attention. Organizations that adopt AI-driven escalation triggers, integrate security information and event management (SIEM) systems with incident response workflows, and enforce structured chain-of-command escalation models improve their ability to contain cyber threats quickly, minimize operational disruptions, and ensure compliance with incident reporting requirements. Multiple stakeholders play a role in escalating incidents when needed. Security Operations Center (SOC) analysts and incident response teams are responsible for monitoring security threats, assessing severity levels, and initiating escalation procedures based on organizational policies. Crisis management teams and executive leadership ensure that major cybersecurity incidents involving financial, legal, or reputational risks receive appropriate executive oversight and resource allocation. Legal and compliance officers play a critical role in ensuring that escalated security incidents comply with regulatory reporting obligations and external disclosure requirements. Effective incident escalation is implemented through predefined escalation triggers, automated decision support systems, and structured incident severity assessments. This includes using AI-driven security event correlation tools to detect high-risk security anomalies, integrating automated incident notification workflows to alert response teams in real time, and defining structured approval processes for executive-level escalation decisions. Organizations that fail to implement structured escalation workflows risk delayed threat containment, confusion among response teams, and potential non-compliance with industry-specific incident disclosure regulations. Several key terms define incident escalation and its role in cybersecurity governance. Escalation thresholds ensure that organizations define clear criteria for when security incidents require higher-level intervention. Incident response chain of command ensures that organizations establish structured approval workflows for escalating cybersecurity threats to executive leadership and external regulatory bodies. Automated escalation workflows ensure that organizations use AI-driven notification systems to automatically alert key stakeholders when high-priority incidents occur, Regulatory compliance reporting ensures that organizations align incident escalation policies with legal and industry-specific reporting mandates. Crisis communication protocols ensure that organizations define structured messaging strategies for internal and external communications during escalated security events. Challenges in escalating cybersecurity incidents when needed often lead to delays in containment efforts, inconsistent incident handling, and failure to comply with mandatory breach notification laws. One common issue is lack of predefined escalation criteria, where organizations fail to establish clear guidelines for when security threats should be escalated, leading to indecision and prolonged response times. Another issue is failure to engage executive leadership during critical incidents, where organizations keep high-risk security events confined to the technical response teams without bringing in business decision-makers to evaluate the broader impact. Some organizations mistakenly believe that escalation is only necessary for confirmed breaches, without recognizing that proactively escalating suspected high-risk incidents can prevent full-scale cyber attacks before they escalate. When organizations implement structured incident escalation frameworks, they enhance cybersecurity response coordination, improve decision-making efficiency, and strengthen their ability to mitigate security risks at the appropriate organizational level. A structured escalation model ensures that cybersecurity teams identify security incidents requiring immediate intervention, business leadership supports high-priority threat mitigation, and IT security teams integrate automated escalation mechanisms into incident response operations. Organizations that adopt AI-driven security event escalation, enforce structured security incident notification policies, and deploy continuous crisis response training models develop a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy that strengthens resilience against evolving cyber threats. Organizations that fail to implement a structured escalation framework for cybersecurity incidents face severe security, operational, and regulatory risks. Without well-defined escalation protocols, businesses risk delayed containment of critical threats, miscommunication between security teams and leadership, and failure to report security breaches within mandated timeframes. A common issue is unclear escalation authority, where security teams are uncertain about when and to whom they should escalate an incident, causing unnecessary delays in activating the appropriate response teams. Another major challenge is failure to integrate automation into escalation processes, where organizations rely solely on manual decision-making, resulting in slow or inconsistent escalation of security incidents. By implementing structured incident escalation policies, organizations ensure that high-risk security incidents receive immediate attention, decision-making is streamlined, and regulatory reporting obligations are met. A well-defined escalation process integrates automated severity assessments, predefined approval workflows, and real-time executive notification mechanisms to ensure that security leaders are engaged at the right time. Organizations that deploy AI-driven escalation triggers, integrate incident response platforms with real-time risk analytics, and enforce structured decision-making frameworks improve their ability to contain cyber threats quickly, minimize operational downtime, and ensure that security incidents are managed efficiently across all levels of the organization. At the partial tier, organizations lack structured escalation criteria, leading to inconsistent decision-making and delayed response efforts. Incident response teams may handle security alerts on a case-by-case basis without predefined escalation triggers, resulting in prolonged investigation times and missed opportunities to contain threats before they escalate. A small business at this level may fail to escalate a suspected data breach to leadership, allowing attackers to access sensitive customer records for an extended period before the issue is recognized as a critical incident. At the risk-informed tier, organizations begin to establish formal escalation policies, ensuring that security teams have predefined criteria for when and how to escalate security threats. However, escalation processes may still be partially manual, with security teams relying on static classification methods that do not dynamically adjust based on real-time threat intelligence. A mid-size healthcare provider at this level may have an escalation policy that requires executive approval for security incidents, but lacks automated workflows, causing delays in reporting breaches that require immediate regulatory disclosure. At the repeatable tier, organizations implement a fully structured escalation framework, ensuring that security incidents are consistently classified, escalated, and resolved based on predefined impact thresholds and business continuity requirements. Cybersecurity governance is formalized, with leadership actively involved in defining response prioritization criteria, enforcing AI-driven escalation models, and ensuring compliance with industry-specific reporting mandates. A multinational cloud services provider at this stage may use automated escalation triggers to notify security leadership within minutes of detecting a high-risk cyber threat, ensuring that rapid decision-making processes are activated immediately. At the adaptive tier, organizations employ machine learning-driven escalation automation, predictive cyber risk analytics, and real-time cybersecurity governance frameworks to proactively assess, escalate, and mitigate cyber threats before they escalate into full-scale incidents. Incident escalation is fully integrated into enterprise security governance, ensuring that security teams use AI-powered decision support systems to adjust escalation policies dynamically based on evolving cyber threats. A global financial institution at this level may leverage automated threat intelligence correlation to assess the likelihood of sophisticated cyber attacks, dynamically adjusting escalation procedures to engage leadership preemptively in high-risk scenarios. Escalating incidents when needed aligns with multiple controls in the National Institute of Standards and Technology Special Publication 800-53, ensuring that organizations implement structured escalation workflows and proactive cybersecurity decision-making strategies. One key control is IR-4 incident handling, which requires organizations to establish predefined escalation paths for high-priority cybersecurity incidents, ensuring that threats are contained and managed efficiently. A government agency implementing this control may use predefined escalation triggers to automatically notify law enforcement agencies in the event of cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure. Another key control is IR-7 incident reporting, which mandates that organizations report escalated security incidents to internal and external stakeholders based on predefined regulatory and operational thresholds. A global technology firm implementing this control may use real-time escalation dashboards to ensure that data breaches affecting customer privacy are reported to regulatory authorities within legally mandated timeframes. Escalating incidents when needed also aligns with CP-2 contingency planning, which requires organizations to establish structured escalation protocols within business continuity and disaster recovery strategies. This control ensures that organizations prepare for cybersecurity incidents by defining escalation criteria for different threat scenarios, enabling a coordinated response across technical, operational, and executive teams. A multinational logistics provider implementing this control may develop predefined escalation paths that trigger emergency response measures when cyber attacks disrupt supply chain operations, ensuring minimal downtime. These controls can be adapted based on organizational size, industry, and cybersecurity maturity. A small business may implement basic incident escalation procedures, ensuring that cybersecurity teams manually escalate high-risk security incidents to leadership and external service providers as needed. A large enterprise may deploy AI-driven escalation automation platforms, real-time cyber risk alerting systems, and predictive security incident escalation models to ensure that incident response execution remains continuously refined and aligned with evolving cyber threats. Organizations in highly regulated industries, such as finance, healthcare, and defense, may require legally mandated cybersecurity incident escalation frameworks, compliance-driven escalation decision-making processes, and structured security incident reporting policies to align with regulatory requirements. Auditors assess an organization's ability to escalate incidents effectively by reviewing whether documented, consistently enforced, and automated escalation frameworks are in place. They evaluate whether organizations implement predefined security event escalation models, enforce structured incident escalation policies, and integrate real-time security event prioritization mechanisms into enterprise-wide cybersecurity governance. If an organization fails to escalate security incidents efficiently, Auditors may issue findings highlighting gaps in cybersecurity risk management, weak escalation decision-making processes, and failure to integrate structured security incident notification strategies into enterprise security frameworks. To verify compliance, auditors seek specific types of evidence. Incident escalation policy documentation and structured cybersecurity escalation reports demonstrate that organizations formally define and enforce security incident response prioritization standards. Security event escalation logs and automated executive notification records provide insights into whether organizations proactively detect, validate, and escalate security threats based on predefined risk thresholds. AI-driven cybersecurity incident escalation dashboards and predictive security analytics show whether organizations effectively track, monitor, and refine security incident escalation strategies using real-world attack data and adaptive security controls. A compliance success scenario could involve a global cloud computing provider that undergoes an audit and provides evidence that structured cybersecurity incident escalation strategies are fully integrated into enterprise security governance, ensuring that all security threats are continuously monitored, classified, and escalated based on predefined severity levels. Auditors confirm that incident escalation policies are systematically enforced, escalation mechanisms are dynamically refined, and enterprise-wide cybersecurity governance frameworks align with structured security event prioritization models. In contrast, an organization that fails to implement structured escalation frameworks, neglects real-time security incident prioritization, or lacks formalized cybersecurity escalation workflows may receive audit findings for poor cybersecurity risk management, weak security incident escalation execution, and failure to align escalation strategies with regulatory compliance mandates. Organizations face multiple barriers in ensuring that cybersecurity incident escalation remains continuous and effective. One major challenge is failure to integrate real-time threat intelligence into escalation models, where organizations rely on static escalation criteria that do not account for emerging cyber threats, resulting in slow or inadequate response escalation. Another challenge is over-reliance on manual escalation approvals, where organizations lack automated escalation mechanisms, leading to delays in activating executive-level decision-making processes. A final challenge is difficulty maintaining consistent escalation procedures across global business units, where organizations struggle to apply standardized security incident escalation protocols across multiple subsidiaries, regions, and regulatory jurisdictions. Organizations can overcome these barriers by developing structured cybersecurity escalation frameworks, ensuring that security event prioritization policies remain continuously optimized, and integrating real-time security event escalation models into enterprise-wide cybersecurity governance strategies. Investing in AI-driven security incident escalation, automated cyber risk prioritization, and predictive security incident correlation tools ensures that organizations dynamically assess, monitor, and refine cybersecurity threat escalation strategies in real time. Standardizing cybersecurity incident escalation methodologies across departments, subsidiaries, and external business partners ensures that cybersecurity escalation policies are consistently applied, reducing exposure to misprioritized security threats while strengthening enterprise-wide cybersecurity resilience. By embedding cybersecurity incident escalation strategies into enterprise security governance frameworks, organizations enhance security event prioritization capabilities, improve regulatory compliance, and ensure sustainable cybersecurity incident management processes across evolving cyber risk landscapes. That wraps up today's discussion on framework. Don't stop here. Head over to cyberauthor.me to explore more cybersecurity topics and discover a best-selling book covering NIST and other critical cyber frameworks. Please like, rate, and review this episode on Apple and Spotify. Until next time, remember that knowledge is power.